Well, I hope it's not too early. I'm afraid that it is, but I hope it's not. So what's going on? Well, my apple tree, I lost my documentation on where I have everything planted, but I'm pretty sure this is a Fuji apple. It's February 15th, and that sucker has been bloomed out for at least a week. Many of the blooms have already died and would be, could be, might be making some little apples. Those blooms have already died, fallen, or are falling. Gosh, it's the middle of February. We've got a lot of cold weather to come. I'll have to read up on exactly how susceptible Fujis are to, or apples in general are, to cold. Because I know I've had some early, I know they bloom early, and I know I've had some early blooms in the past, and I've gotten some apples. So it could very well be that these blooms can withstand a lot of cold. And some of y'all up north can give me a little bit better information about just how cold affects the apples. But anyway, it is bloomed out a bunch, and we've had some warm weather. It's going to be 70 degrees today, and I'm not griping about that at all. I just don't know. I just don't know. Boy, they're beautiful. I mean, they're really pretty. I just don't know if if they're gonna be able to survive cold weather if we get some. Now it may, we've had some Marches that were just beautiful and nice and looked like it's ready to plant, and then we've had some about this time 2 years ago it was -5. So you just kind of never know here in East Texas. And the cold is really not all my problems with this tree, because this is my only apple tree. I had one that I planted last year that would be a pollinator for this one, because I lost my other trees, my other apple trees, to disease, and this one has just done great. I mean, I've got a lot of woodpecker holes in it and stuff like that, but the tree itself looks pretty doggone good. But unless someone has an apple planted fairly close, or maybe a crab apple fairly close, I'm just not sure it's going to get pollinated anyway. Whether the blooms survive a freeze or not, they may just may not get pollinated. I've got bees close, so that's usually not a problem. But you got to have that pollinator, and I'm hoping someone around me somewhere has an apple tree that the bees would go find, and then come find this one, and vice versa, and give me some pollination. So just I'm hoping. See, you got some blooms that are spent, pretty much spent, not really making apples yet. It's not really time. They haven't had time yet. But then you got some blooms that are just coming on, and some that are just now hadn't even opened up yet. Apple trees are just they're really pretty. But I don't know what's gonna happen with it. I don't know if I can get me some apples off of it. When I had pollinators, this tree was real prolific. It put out a lot of apples, and I pruned it, and it was much bigger than this. It's real tall. I haven't kept it pruned down short to where I can reach the apples real well, but I've got a pole picker that I use on my pears and such, and I can use it on this apple tree too. There's bees right there on it. I see bees right now on them blooms. So hopefully they came, hopefully they're not just here from my tree. Hopefully they came from another tree, another apple tree, and they're kind of sharing the love, as you might say. All right, let me, while I got you on line, let me walk over here and show you my onions. They're doing pretty well. And by the way, the pear trees have not done anything yet. They will start blooming probably pretty soon, but they are later, usually several weeks later than the apple tree. That's my Orient pear tree, and it's usually just extremely prolific. Anyway, So let's look at the onions. Some of them look like they've taken hold, some of them have not. I think I kept a few and I might could replant. The fact that they're starting to make some really dark green stems lets me know that the roots are starting to grab and starting to take hold. And most of these look really good. And I've got this box looks real good. I've got 10 onions in each of these raised bed boxes. And this one here, 4 of them on this end did real good, and nothing on this end. So I'm gonna try to come back and replant the ones that don't look so hot. We've gotten a lot of rain, but and they're fertilized well. It's just that compost that I put on top, as you can see, is not really finished. It was a little coarse, and I was concerned that the coarseness of the compost might preclude those roots from sealing, the soil sealing around those roots, and maybe a piece of bark would be on the root and not soil sealing it up. And so for that reason, I wasn't sure if they're going to do well, but most of them are. So I'll just replant if I can find some more onions. I think I've got a few left if they made it this long in a bag, and replant. But all in all, really doesn't look bad. Really doesn't look bad at all. These 2 rows of tubs of raised beds are going to be corn, and I'm looking for a beautiful stand of ambrosia corn. We got trees blooming out a little early, onions that look pretty good. I'm gonna give them a 70% rating because maybe 80 or 90% rating. The vast majority of them look pretty dadgum good. So happy with all that, and happy that you could come along for the ride. Just waiting for that pear tree to start blooming, and I've got to start transferring some of my blackberries over there in those orange tubs, blue tubs. I've got to replace some stuff. We'll just see what I do. I hadn't decided exactly what I'm gonna do. I may just replace that one tub that's busted out. But anyway, we're gonna get her done, and I appreciate you folks watching and listening. Apple trees are blooming in East Texas. All right, I think that's it. We're gone.